The church smelled like roses and wax, the scent of something old and something new. Guests whispered behind their hands, a sea of unfamiliar faces and a few too familiar ones. I sat in the last pew, back straight, hands clasped, my heart a graveyard of buried memories. She looked beautiful. Of course she did. White lace draped over her like a lie, delicate and deceiving. Her veil hung down her back, framing the face I once kissed in the dark, the lips that whispered promises she never intended to keep. I watched as she smiled at him, the man she chose. The man she left me for. I shouldn't have come. I told myself that 100 times. But when I received the invitation, something inside me snapped into place. Like a puzzle piece I didn't know was missing. I had unfinished business. The priest's voice echoed off the marble walls. The vows were spoken. Empty words wrapped in gold, exchanged between two people who thought they had buried their pasts. Then the question came. Does anyone object? A ripple of silence. The kind that holds its breath. The kind that waits for a storm. I stood and the room gasped. Her eyes found me, then wide and disbelieving. Fear flickered in their depths just for a moment, before she masked it with practiced calm. Her groom, Daniel, the unsuspecting fool, looked between us, confusion creasing his brow. Who is this? He asked her. I smirked. Tell him, Olivia. She swallowed hard color, draining from her face. The priest cleared his throat. Sir, if you have an objection, please state it now or forever. Hold your peace. I reached into my coat pocket, my fingers brushing against the cool surface of the box. The weight of it, heavier than anything I had ever carried. I'm not here to object, I said, stepping into the aisle. I'm here to give the bride a wedding gift. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. I walked forward, slow and deliberate, until I stood before her. Her breath hitched. I held out the box. Go on, Olivia. Open it. Her hands trembled as she took it, fingers ghosting over the ribbon. Her hesitation stretched the moment, tension thick enough to snap. Then she pulled it loose. The lid lifted and she screamed. A raw, visceral sound ripped from the depths of her soul. Her knees buckled and she collapsed. Gasps. Shouts. A chair scraping against the floor. Her groom dropped to her side, shaking her shoulders. Olivia. What is it? The box tumbled from her grasp, spilling its contents onto the pristine white floor. A stack of photographs of her with me. With another man. With many men. Every affair. Every lie. Every betrayal exposed. Daniel picked up a photo, his face twisting in horror. What the hell is this? His voice shook, each syllable laced with disbelief. I crossed my arms. Proof. The whispers turned into a storm. Her family stared frozen in shock, while his mother clutched her chest as if the truth physically wounded her. Olivia was still on the floor, hyperventilating. Tears streaked her makeup, the perfect bride, shattered like porcelain. You bastard, she choked out, eyes burning with hatred. How could you do this to me? I crouched down beside her, lowering my voice so only she could hear. How could you do this to me? My words were calm, but the weight behind them was crushing. She said nothing because there was nothing left to say. She knew. She knew she had it coming. Daniel turned to me, jaw tight. How long? I met his gaze without flinching. Does it matter? His fist clenched. His world was crumbling, and he was looking for something, someone to punch, to blame. But the truth was right there, lying at his feet. Olivia sobbed. Daniel, please, I can explain. Explain. He let out a hollow laugh. Explain how you spent the last 3 years lying to me. To everyone. I straightened, watching his realization dawned on him. The weight of betrayal settled into his bones, making him stagger back. He looked at her like a stranger, someone he had never truly known. How many? He whispered. She hesitated. And that was answer enough. Daniel inhaled sharply, his hands falling to his sides. He turned to me, ice cold. Why did you do this? Why come here? Why now? I exhaled, letting the past bleed into the present. Because she didn't just betray you. His brows knit together. She was mine first. The room fell into stunned silence. My voice was steady, but my heart thundered in my chest. We were engaged. Until I found out she had a habit of collecting lovers like souvenirs. My gaze flicked back to Olivia. She promised me forever. Just like she promised you. Daniel's breath hitched. He looked at her, eyes burning. Is that true? She didn't answer. Because we all knew the truth. I turned to leave. My part was done. But before I reached the doors, Daniel called out. Wait. I glanced back. He stepped forward, his expression unreadable. And then he extended his hand. Not in anger, but in understanding. I took it. Because sometimes, the only people who truly understand your pain are the ones who were broken by the same hands. I walked out of that church, the weight on my chest finally lifting. For years I had carried the burden of betrayal, the wound festering in the dark. But now it was out in the open. Now she had to live with it. Justice wasn't always about revenge. Sometimes it was about letting people face the truth. As I stepped into the sunlight, I felt it. Freedom. And it never looked so good.